It's been quite a bit since I've made a video, and there's reasons why. Because one, work is work, um, lack of sleep, and lately I've been kind of getting sick. So I've only been the last 2 days, including today. I just kind of went home right after my midnight shift, and because like Thursday night when I woke up to get ready to go for work, I just was feeling super fucking congested. I couldn't breathe. I went in anyway just to get my hours in, but I was cautious to stay away from people. Um, Thankfully, I was doing something like that night at work where I was not close to people, so it was a good thing. Um, Same thing with today. Did the same job that I did yesterday. Um, well, I wasn't really close to people. I was just helping break some jams for the last 5 hours. But and like personal, getting some personal stuff off my chest for a second. When it comes to work now, I'm just getting to the point where I'm going to go back working part time. One, my body's starting to kind of break down a little bit. Like, I got a lot of pain issues that I don't think will ever go away. I have arthritis in my knees. Um, I have sh- um, I have a constant shoulder problem. Um, my It's like I have a hip issue right now that I'm trying to take care of, and I'm starting to get pain in my left foot. So, due to my health, and I'm just feel like I'm getting sick. I'm just gonna take a step back from doing full time to go back to part time, where I can pick and choose if I want to pull a double or stay for an extra shift or put some extra hours in to get some extra get some money in and whatever. Currently I make good money. I'm not complaining about the money aspect of it. It's just the respect of my time, really. Um, but and my health. So while I get my health under control, I'm gonna go back part time, and I'll still work a decent amount of hours. I'll try I work about 50 hours a week currently, but this week I've only worked only about 40, so 42 hours this week because the last 2 days I felt like fucking shit. Sorry, but yeah, I'm just gonna take a step back from being full time. I talk to my sort manager next week about my decision. He'll try to talk me out of it, but at this rate, it's what's good for me, and I have some stuff to take care of personally and health wise. So there's that. So since we last talked, I've updated my diecast collection a little bit. I'll make another video about that. I'm trying to get caught up with my videos. How I try to put more effort into getting this more of my focus. Well, still with work, but I want to kind of build this up a bit. But my channel. But I want to start getting into some NASCAR talk. Last time we talked, I was talking updating you guys on Daytona and everything going on with that. It's been a strange season to say the least. We've had two straight full time first time winners. Yeah, my last video was 2 months ago about Daytona, so I'm gonna get into what's been going on since then. We've had two first time winners, two kind of unexpected, really. McDowell Y'all know how I feel about that. Christopher Bell, I saw it coming, but not at the road course, because that still irks me to this day that I still feel NASCAR kind of ripped that win away from Chase. Like, he was leading the laps, like pulling away from the field, and like less than 30 to go, and they pull the fucking weather caution bullshit, and held everyone on lockdown. Well, not lockdown, but like under a red flag, and then kind of screwed up Chase's thing, and so he pitted, and then he got set back in the pack a bit, so that kind of ruined our chances, and we got spun out by Denny Hamlin of all people. So there's that. I'll get to Denny Hamlin in a little bit. So since that Daytona road course, Christopher Bell won, fantastic. But the winners since then, I'll get into like at each race and like how it kind of went. Standout drivers. Byron dominated Homestead. Like, Homestead, that's his playground. He was good there in the Xfinity Series where he won the championship at that track. And he's been one of really the most, like, next to Hamlin, he's been the most consistent, like, second most consistent driver in the field. Like, he has 2 finishes that are that were bad, because either like most of the guy had wrecked out or had some kind of issue, which was the first 2 Daytona races. Homestead wins, and ever since then he's been getting like top 10 finishes every single week since then. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight top 10 finishes and 2 top 5s. That's like literally insane. He had I just saw his results from, like, I think this is Las Vegas, Phoenix, and Atlanta, I want to say. All 8th place finishes, 3 straight 8s. Then 6th, 4th, and 7th. So, and along with, like, I want to talk about his teammates. Like, Larson's been doing okay. Like, he has a win under his belt. Not really surprising. One that dominated at Vegas, and it's kind of had an up and down kind of season. Yeah, he has a lot of good finishes. Like, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 top 10s, and 1, 2, 3, 4 top 5s, and 3 bad finishes. Surprisingly, for the dirt race where he finished 29th, where he started on the pole, and Richmond he finished 18th, and the Daytona road course he finished 30th. So the dirt race surprised me because he's a dirt racer, so that kind of surprised me. But overall, he's done a rather decent job this season. Like, a lot of laps and all that. Now I want to get on to Phoenix. The last handful of laps for that race, there should have been a caution. Like, the last maybe 20 laps or so, there should have been a caution for debris on the track, because Cole Custer completely smacked the shit out of the wall, and debris was flying everywhere, and drivers were calling it out. Like, other drivers were calling it out. There was debris all over the track. They pull out a caution, whatever. Like, even Kyle Busch was saying it over the radio. Like, but no, because their precious little golden boy, Truex, can do no wrong because he's a Toyota driver for Joe Gibbs. Was leading the race and gonna win, and he did. But that's just my thoughts on it. So, Phoenix wasn't a bad race. It's my home track, and I love every race that I've seen. Um, like the whole weekend was interesting. Like the ARCA race, thought it was gonna get rained out because it was pouring, like pouring hours before the race started. They well, they only delayed maybe a half hour, maybe, but it was so freaking cold, and they've just been cautions and cautions and cautions because it's ARCA. They're kids. What do you expect? Um, like me and my dad, we were freezing our asses off, and like Ty Gibbs was pretty much dominating the entire damn field, so we were not even gonna be shocked if we left and he won. So we left because we were freaking freezing our asses off, and and then Xfinity, incredible race, incredible, much better than the ARCA race. Um, Unfortunately, like Noah had issues, my driver in the Xfinity series. Um, Sorry. Ugh. It's either allergies or I got a cold. I am not entirely sure what it is, but I need to make a doctor's appointment this week. Um, yeah, Noah has kind of had an up and down season. Um, JRM as a whole has actually run pretty well. They have a couple wins. Allgaier won, and Josh Berry of all people, like a short track kind of guy, he won, um, which is awesome. And Noah Gregson finished like right behind him. I believe it was at Richmond. Um, did they run Richmond? No, they didn't run Richmond. It was the race before that, where they finished like 1-2. So it was a good day for them. I think all of them finished in the top 10 that day. Coffee break. Anyway, and trucks, it's so. Like it's been exciting, but not at the same time. Um, but KBM, I think, is having a little bit of resurgence because lately they haven't been running terrible. Like the last handful of seasons, they haven't been running all that great. I don't know if it's just driver or the equipment, but John Hunter Nemechek came and back down to trucks because I think he was in Cup. I think he was in Cup in Xfinity for a while, and so he went back down to trucks, and to drive the Ford truck for KBM. I'm having a brain fart here, and he's won 2 races so far this year, and both beating his boss, Mr. Egotistical himself, Kyle Busch. And I'll get to like all the other drivers in a second, but I'm just going through like each series. My girl Haley, this is a learning season for her. People are getting on her case though, like as much as like any person would for a female driver. Rookie season, they expect a lot from her and blah blah. Like, we get it. She's one of the better female drivers within our sport. Does she have like the best equipment that they could offer? No, but she's kind of been robbed a little bit of good finishes from having really good runs. She's had good runs, just not the finishes to show for it. But she finished 17th at Richmond. Yeah, as I was saying, John Hunter Nemechek won at Vegas and Richmond just recently. So, I won't even talk about the dirt race because, ugh. Anyway, let me get back to Cup for a second. It's just wild to me that you would think by this time of the season you would see like a clear hardcore favorites to be like to go for the championship and be in the final 4 and go for the like championship for it all, like at Phoenix at the end of the year. But we've had um, the only repeat winner we've had is Truex, sadly. But out of like the 9 races we've had 8 different winners, all kind of like sporadic. Each manufacturer, sorry, um, yeah, sorry about that. Each manufacturer, Ford, Toyota, and Chevy, all have 3 wins. Chevy has all 3 wins by one team, and that's Hendrick, which is fucking fantastic. Um, because that means they're doing really, really, really well this season. Especially Alex Bowman. He's had the worst freaking luck of any driver I've seen this year, except for Chase. Um, Bowman just got into the 48 car this season. Allies fully bagging him 100% through 2023. Hopefully that's the case. um, at least Ally is going to be with Hendrick and on that car through 2023. And Bowman won at Richmond, his first short track win of his career in the Cup Series. And that those kind of tracks kind of been his kryptonite a little bit. I'm just very gassy today. I'm so sorry. Um, I'm having a brain fart. Oh yeah, Bowman. He's like he has one of the fast. He's like every week he has like one of the fastest cars on track. He could have won Martinsville, but he had shit luck there, and he had like a loose wheel issue. And Richmond, he actually came back and from a penalty. I believe it was a pit road penalty, and it was like uncontrolled tire. And he's like, "Oh, I'll just pass them all again," like on radioactive. And which he did. He was one of the fastest cars on track, next to, I believe it was Hamlin. I think it was Hamlin, because Hamlin and Truex were kind of like flat out dominating that race. Hamlin, like that's his backyard. Like Richmond's is like one of his home tracks next to Martinsville. Um, and he finished like once again in the top 5. Like this entire season, minus one race, he's finished within the top 5 or runner up. 8 out of 9 races he's finished within the top 5. And he ran his mouth about Bowman like, I'm in a better position than Bowman right now because, like, points wise, we're running better and this shit like that. Like, he's running his goddamn mouth. Like, well, no shit. You're in, like, top tier goddamn equipment. You're in a Toyota. You're with Joe Gibbs. So, of course, you're going to get the best equipment possible. You guys are fast every week. Not everyone gets that. Not every single person gets that. Penske's looking strong this year. Like, Logano and Blaney have a win this year. Brad Keselowski does not, which is great. But, what was it? So, it's surprising how poorly SHR has been running, though. Like none of their drivers like are even like a blimp on the radar when it comes to these races. Like Eric Almirola finally gets at one top 10 so far this season. Kevin Harvick's been non-existent competitive wise, but when Jimmy has these kind of seasons, like, oh, he's washed up, he needs to retire and blah blah blah. But it's like kind of a double standard a little bit. It's a little, I don't know. Cole Custer has been non-existent, in my opinion, and Chase Briscoe has had shit luck in his rookie season. You see blimps of like good runs in here and there, but he doesn't have the finishes to show for it. Blaney won Atlanta. Logano won the dirt race, which was fucking weird. Martinsville Truck shouldn't even won that one either. And then Richmond just recently is Bowman. And people, I just want to get into this for a second. People are making a big deal over the fact that Chase is the only Hendrick driver without a win this season. And they can start now making a big deal because he's the reigning champ. And now everyone's assuming it's like a championship hangover, just like Kyle Busch, just like Truex and blah, blah, blah. Like, no. Look at his past seasons. His starts always go slow. Like, the starts of a season always start off like this, very, very slow. He'll have blimps of good finishes during the start, but they're not consistent good finishes. Like, they're decent finishes, but not good. He could have won the Daytona 500, but they ripped him off of there. I still firmly believe that. And the Daytona Road Course, which he should have won too. Martinsville, he wasn't even close to touching Truex, but we have a couple runner-up finishes, like 3 top 5s and 4 top 10s, which isn't bad, but it could be better. There's some that were just kind of like ripped away from us, but overall points wise, he's in a good spot. He's 7th in the regular point standings and like 10th overall in the playoffs. He's basically like 2nd in the playoff like among like drivers who have not won yet. There's Denny and then there's Chase. Because Denny's like points lead is just like through the roof above everyone else right now. I just find a lot more people are winning before Hamlin does. And but anyway, it's been a wild season. But I just want to make one thing clear. A driver in particular that I won't name names because I will get shit on for it. NASCAR keeps throwing him into every post and like every week about paint schemes, like new paint schemes, and oh, look at these fresh new paint schemes or just schemes in general for the race coming up this weekend or whatever, and they'll throw that one particular car into that post every single week on the Instagram or whatever, when it's not even a new scheme. He runs the same scheme every goddamn week, and posting it and throwing it in there, it's like it's gonna make a difference. Like, we don't give a shit, and it's okay to not like a particular driver based on like his personality or the way he acts and how he presents himself, whatever. Just because we don't like a particular driver, it does not mean we're racist. Someone actually said that, like, oh, look at all these racist people just not liking this guy because of his skin color. I'm like, no, I don't give a shit. One, where you're from, what you look like, what your skin color is. If you can drive and you can perform, then you're doing a damn good job. But this guy, honestly, is a shitty driver. Does nothing but have like little pity parties for himself. His attitude is god awful. And I honestly think the team he's running on, they're wasting their money on him. Yes, he has like some strong runs, but he always ends up back where he was, like when he was driving the 43, back in like 15th, 20th position or laps down, whatever, causing issues. And people are like, oh, he's just watch out. Like, you guys, that he lives rent free in your head. I'm like, no, not really. Apparently he lives rent free in NASCAR's head, like media team. He lives in their head. So that's why they keep posting about him and his unoriginal paint scheme that's the same every single week. So if you go out there, perform, and like prove your worth and not worth, but prove yourself and actually show some like you actually have some talent and not just cry for attention when you need it, then I'll show some respect for you and root you on to do good and whatnot. Doesn't mean I'll be a fan of yours, but I would root for you, like, just to do good. Like, there's certain drivers within the field that I'm not a fan of, but I root for them to do well. If my driver is not, like, in that position to be up front or win the race or whatever. Like, if that one other particular driver is up front, I'll be like, hey, go for it. Go win that race. Get a good finish, whatever. But just because we don't like a certain driver doesn't mean there's like that one die-hard fucking reason we don't like them. It's not based on skin color at all. I don't give your white, black, Asian, whatever race. I don't give a shit like what your race is, what your skin color is, like what your background is. If you can race, race. If you're proving that you can win races or be top 5 consistently every single week, lead some laps, win stages, whatever, then none of that freaking matters. Racers are racers. They come from all over the world. A lot come to to our series to run this, like the Cup Series or trucks, Xfinity, whatever, because it challenges some people because they don't have it like where they're at or whatever. So it's intriguing to me that people actually think that we don't like certain drivers based on like everything today in our society. Everyone will find something that to make an excuse that it's like, oh, this, you don't like this because it's racist. You don't like do this because it's racist. I'm like, no, let's just stop with that bullshit and realize people are people. If you have the talent to race cars, go do it. Go do it. It's like with females. Like, there's not many female race car drivers, like competitive race car drivers, making an impact today. We have Hailie Deegan, like, in the truck series. She may not be getting those, like, top 10 finishes currently, but she's working her ass off constantly every single day. She works out. She trains hard. And yet people still get on her case, but it's like, it takes time. Literally, it takes time to be where you want to be at. She wants to win in every series, like, she runs in to get that experience, to get the exposure out there. And, like, she just announced that she's, like, running another series, like, with some, like, old race car drivers, including, like, Bill Elliott and Greg Biffle and all these other, like, drivers who used to run NASCAR but are running, like, a separate series. That's probably, like, not gonna be as competitive, like, be, like, beating the band, but, they chose her to be, like, run a race, like, at Knoxville, whatever, in one of these cars. And someone made a stupid comment, like, oh, there's much better young drivers that they could have picked, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm sorry. Do they have the dirt background that she has? Do they have, like, off-road truck, like, trophy truck dirt racing championships at a young age, as a teenager or preteen? Yes, like, there's plenty of young male drivers that are fantastic and would do a great job, but they chose her because she brings a lot of exposure to racing right now, because she has the social media follow, she has the personality, she has the talent, but people just don't see that. They just see, like, female stereotype, oh, wreck cars and ruin things and shit like that. They always base it off because of what Danica Patrick portrayed onto the sport, where she didn't really do jack shit positive-wise. And people act like, oh, she brought all the female fans and attracted the female fans. Like, no, I'm a female fan. I never gave two shits for Danica when she was in the NASCAR series. She didn't bring me into the series. I was a fan of the Cup Series like NASCAR in general, since I was 6 for 24 goddamn years. 24 years, and people don't believe that. So no, she did not bring me in as a fan. Jeff Gordon basically brought me as a fan. Like, my Rainbow Warrior diecast or whatever, like the Flames diecast that I have, the 24 car, that was what brought me in. I like was drawn into like the paint schemes, the cars themselves, not the drivers, but the cars. They intrigued me. So, anyway, I want to go through like the points themselves. Denny Hamlin, of course, has like almost has pretty much an 80-point lead over his teammate currently, which is Martin Truex. And then it is just regular season points. Then Logano, who's just basically a point under Truex, and then Byron, Blaney, Larson, and Chase, Harvick, who's been having an off season, Brad Keselowski, Christopher Bell, Kyle Busch, he's having a weird season as well. He only has 5 top 10s this year. 2 of them are top 5. Only 2. Then the surprising, like, he's in the top 12, but he's actually been running pretty well. He'll slide in and finish top 10. But he's not having a bad season, but it's like, it's not great either. But he has like 1 top 5, a few top 10s. It's like, it's RCR equipment, so you don't really expect much, but RCR is getting better as the season goes on. And then there's Bowman, which he has his win. 4 top 10s, 2 top 5s. Ricky Stenhouse has a top 10 and a top 5, which is surprising. Kurt Busch, CGR has not been making like a huge splash the last couple of seasons. And ever since Chastain got into the 42, he's not even like in the top 20 when it comes to points. And I knew bringing Ross Chastain to the Cup Series full time was a bad idea. Like, especially to drive the 42, which is a shitty car to begin with. Hasn't really done much. He has 1 top 10 to his name this season in 9 starts. Like, Daniel Suarez, dude, the guy is killing it right now. Like, he's shown, like, with a brand new team, they ran strong on I think it was the Bristol dirt race, I believe. Trying to remember. And Phoenix, he was running pretty well. So, he's not having a terrible season. He's actually doing a lot better than another certain new team that opened up. But he's showing promise. He led laps this year. Like a lot of laps, being really competitive. And you know how I feel about Eric Hamilton. He's just there to be there. I feel like he'll either lose this right at the end of the season, or he's just gonna like drop out of the series completely because it's not. He's just not good. But other than that, it's just like, it's been a weird season to the point where there's no clear favorite for a championship. Like people will always continue to say Denny Hamlin, but he is just known for choking away big opportunities, and he had the chance again in the Final Four last season, and he wasn't even a blimp on the radar when it came to being competitive in that race. He was the only driver in the Final Four who did not lead a single lap that day. Like, everyone else, like Keselowski and Logano, both led laps. Chase, who the champion is, led laps. Hamlin did not. He cheated his way into the Final Four by a point. Still lost. Still was the weakest link of them all. So there's that. We'll get into Xfinity. There's been some drama surrounding the Xfinity series a little bit, mainly Noah, but I thrive off of people's stupidity when it comes to Noah. Acting like he's an entitled, spoiled brat and whatever, and he always only here because his daddy's money and shit like that. I'm not gonna get into the daddy money thing, but there was an incident on pit road. I don't know what race it was, but where Hemrick came up to Noah during his interview, like post-race interview, and started like basically fist fighting the guy, like on pit road, over basically nothing. Like the 18 Hemrick, who has a shitty NASCAR career in general, he hasn't done much of anything except he hasn't won a damn fucking race, which I will never understand why he has the rise that he has without the wins backing him up. Like, if you have wins, you have room to talk and talk some shit. But if you're not consistent enough with your finishes, if you're not winning races, if you're not going to contend for a championship, then what's the point of running your mouth? But typical Toyota driver now runs their mouth and thinking they're hot shit, and it's not their fault about what happened on track when they caused the stupid situation. And he slid through into Noah's pit box accidentally. It's like, wasn't on purpose. It was like he just slid through, and so he backed up, and Noah had to go around him at that time, and he was like not all the way into his box, so he had to back up, and he accidentally hit the front of the 18 car. Not very hard, but just enough to make slight damage. But like, no one was injured, nothing like dramatic happened, but apparently Hemrick and all the Noah haters believe like, oh, he did that on purpose, had the intention to do it. I'm like, if he had intentions to do it on purpose, like intentionally do it, wouldn't he gone like much faster and quicker, making more damage? And why would he put anyone's life in danger when he didn't do that? And that was not in his mindset. He didn't see the 18 car when he was backing up. He backed up, hit the car, and moved up. No harm, no foul. But all the audacity, it's always Noah's fault because he's the asshole in every situation that he's involved in. It's like, people have nothing better to do than just bitch and complain about Noah. But that's another video for another day. Get my composure here. I'm going to upload this video. Yes, I'm wearing an Atlanta hat. Sorry, ADD. Like, boop, distraction. It's baseball season, and my Padres are doing so-so, but they have a really good lineup, and they just beat the Dodgers 2 games in a row this week. So I'm like, and we embarrassed Kershaw yesterday, which was absolutely freaking hilarious. We beat them like 6-1. It was great. Or 6-2. I can't remember, but we beat them. It was great. I just got this because it's like a Chase edition thing. I'm gonna upload this video, as I was gonna say, and next video I'm gonna do is update you guys on like the new diecasts I got, and the ones that I'm going to be getting in, and the ones I have pre-ordered, because I've pre-ordered a shitload of them. You'll be surprised by which one. One of them, of a driver that I don't particularly like because he's in the Toyota camp. One of his diecast, because it has my company's, my work's name like on it. He's sponsored by my company, so there's that. So I'll show you guys that later. I rambled on long enough for about 40 minutes about basically nothing. like update you about like all these races. Um, I didn't really go into detail about much of these races because one, Richmond is a terrible track, terrible. I freaking hate Richmond. It was such a boring race where I wanted to cry about how boring it was. Like I almost turned it off and went to sleep, but I'm glad I didn't because that final restart just like put me over the edge, and I was like, yes, Bowman, my Arizona boy, Bowman. Um, Dirt race was okay. Martinsville was like almost like Talladega. It was like all over the place with wild action. Dirt again was okay. Atlanta is Atlanta. I never liked Atlanta. Um, Phoenix, home state, home track, and good news. I got like how if you're like deeply involved in the sport and the tracks you go to, like in your home state or whatever, you have a track close to you that you go to constantly. Like I've been going to Phoenix Raceway for since 2016, so about 5 years now, like back to back, like Phoenix races. So they call like the ticket office calls me, like asks me like how my experience was in like the previous race that I went to and whatnot, what could be better and whatnot. So I'm gonna have to become like a season ticket holder. So I don't know why I haven't done that before, but they said by November, the infields plus the garage area should be back open for people to go into the infield, enjoy that experience again. Hopefully, no masks because it would drive me insane. But like if you want to wear them, it's cool. But me personally, not so much. What was I saying? They should be at full capacity. It says, depending on like how things go, which things are looking good for that to happen. We're gonna be back at full capacity for the championship race, which would have been great if when Chase won the championship, because it would have been like insane. The reaction would have been so much better with a full damn crowd. Like it would have been like wild. But like get my infield passes back, just be in the garage area again, just get that feeling that we've been deprived of for the last couple of races there, because we haven't been able to be in the infield or be in the garage areas. There's been no practice, qualify, whatever, which is really annoying to have no practice or qualifying. So it's whatever. So they say it looks good to be back at full capacity by November, but they're gonna keep us updated about everything. So Vegas was so. I'm usually a big fan of Vegas, but when it's dominated by like one person, it's not really exciting. I just want to talk about Hendrick Motorsports in general. They're having a kick-ass season. Yes, 3 of their drivers are now officially locked into the playoffs. I don't have any worries about Chase because he's going to be kick-ass at several racetracks we come up to and win several, I believe. People Capuchin complain about his crew chief yet again, and I'm not going to get into that because this is not worth my time or breath. The road course, robbed. Daytona 500. It's a good race, but it wasn't great. I'm just glad Chase finished that race in second spot, but he could have won that. Other than that, we got Talladega up next, which we all know is going to be a shit show. Kansas, I'm not a big fan of Kansas. And I want to make a point very, very fucking clear. On my Twitter, when I, like every week, there's a lot of tracks I don't personally like. Like, I'll go through each track personally and, like, say, like, which ones I like. Just, like, in between on and whatever. Just because I don't like a certain track, it's not because of my driver performing poorly at this track. I haven't liked certain tracks for a very long time, and I don't like tracks that Chase has won on. Like, it has nothing to do with his performance on these tracks. I just never personally liked them performance-wise as a whole for the series. Like Daytona, I'm indifferent to. Road course, I hate road courses. All of them, no matter what. No matter how much my driver is good at road courses. Homestead, I hate Homestead. It's a very bland racetrack to me. A lot of people will disagree, but I don't care. Vegas, I love Vegas. Absolutely love Vegas. Been there a couple times now. Both races been freaking incredible. It's like one was a night race and it looked insane. It was great. Phoenix, you know how I feel about Phoenix. Love it. Even though people still bitch about it being such a boring track, which it's not. Atlanta, hate Atlanta. Bristol, the regular Bristol, I'm fine with. The dirt, not so much. Martinsville is in between on that track. Richmond, hate that track. Talladega, I'm not a big fan of Talladega, but it's there. I'm not a big fan of Kansas, even though Chase has won there. Talladega, like I said, Chase has won there, but I don't give a shit about that track. Darlington, I'm indifferent with. Dover, I love. Coda, have no idea because I've never seen them run there. Charlotte Motor Speedway, I like that track actually. Sonoma, again, road course, don't care. Since they repaved this track, I can't stand Texas. Nashville, don't have an opinion. Pocono, I freaking hate because they're boring as shit, which I will never understand why they have back-to-back races for this track. Road America, not really any opinion about it. Atlanta, New Hampshire, God, I hate that track with a burning passion. Watkins Glen, as a road course, I'm indifferent to. Indy, don't care for. Especially the road course, I don't care for. Michigan is okay, but it just repeat. Oh, the Charlotte Roval. I actually like the Roval. It's very exciting. And the rest are just repeats. So all the tracks that I mentioned that I don't like, a lot of them Chase runs super well at, and a lot he doesn't. But that has nothing to do with me disliking the track. So those are just my opinions because someone said I only dislike a track based on how my driver is performing in that race. So no, and I shouldn't have to explain myself, but there it is. So I'm gonna go blow my nose because I am dying currently. Not actually dying, but I feel like I'm dying. And I'll get into doing this video in a little bit. So I'm gonna upload this. It's gonna take a while because it's almost an hour long. So enjoy.